when I was telling you about this book I read, there was a great quote in this book.
Uh-oh.
We're going to have to move him. There was this great quote in the book about, tell me when, about, now hear this, better to be part of a good minority than a bad majority.
I've never heard that, but I would agree.
It was in this book that I just told you about this morning.
Okay.
Okay.
So it looks like we're finally on live on YouTube and getting started. So let's just regroup and start again. Welcome to KGUA Writers this morning. Mark Gross, Peggy Berryhill, and Woof the dog. An announcement, one of the people who was at the Pride event put on by Action Network that we've both been talking about and have been feeling so fondly about was Julia Lark from the library. And I hadn't seen Julia in months either. And, you know, we all, not only did we take off our masks, we got to hug each other.
Wow.
Which was so nice. So Julia wanted to remind you of some special reading events that are coming up and through started June 11th, going through even farther. But June 28th, how much fun is this? Jeannie Jackson is going to be there, and she's going to talk about favorite baby animal sightings in our area.
Awesome.
So you want to stay in tuned for that. That's coming up very soon. Bats of Our World are coming up in July 13th. And we don't mean baseball bats. We mean those flying things. And that sounds like fun. So a lot of great stuff coming up at the library. What else was I supposed to tell you? I think that's, do you have any?
I can't think of anything else. Oh, so the library is open.
The
correct?
Library is open.
The library is open. Okay.
We love the library in Point Arena. Give them a call at 882-3114. And I don't know about you guys, and I'm not sure about Mark, but I have loved libraries since I was little.
Right.
And they had the
right.
kids' libraries
Yep.
with the little tables and the little
Yep.
chairs. All right. Whew. All right. So Mark.
Peggy's nostalgic today.
I am nostalgic. Oh, and one more thing I want to let you know. Coming up tomorrow. I know Mark's looking at his watch.
We're good. We're actually good.
So tomorrow I am going to interview this author, Kent Blanchett, about Richard Oakes, Alcatraz and the Red Power Movement, A Journey to Freedom. Richard Oakes was a Mohawk man who came to live on Kashaya. He died at Kashaya. And we're going to talk about this book tomorrow, which is a very good book. I recommend it. And just wanted to let you know that's coming up on Peggy's Place.
Thank you.
So, Mark, let us talk about KGUA Writers. And I'm going to ask, you can, if you would share your notes, your prints with me, because I didn't have time
yes,
to get
I will.
mine.
We had the prompt was pride. What are you proud of? Or who are you proud of? Or both. And there are two components to this. There is the regular submissions and when I was telling you about this book I read, there was a great quote in this book. We're going to have to move him. There was this great,
sorry, that's me.
That's
Never
you.
mind. Got it.
Okay.
Yes.
You got it.
Thank you.
Peggy's still sitting at the library as a little girl, figuring this out.
What am I going to do when I
So
get
we had the
old?
regular
Yeah.
submissions, which are just very moving. And I must say, Peggy has not heard them yet. So they're awesome. And then there was that pop-up, the KGUA Writers pop-up at Action Network. And we invited a free write on the spot to the community. And when I say again, the community, the people who came out there to write on the spot to the same prompt. And on the spot, which we'll weave in and identify as we go through on the KGUA Writers pop-up. And look forward for the pop-ups. They seem to be very effective for some people that want to take a stab at writing. What I loved was when I announced the free write, who wants to write? Everybody said, me. And you just hand out the paper, set the timer, and everybody was so diligently writing.
Well, why don't we read a couple of those free writes?
Oh, okay, sure.
And then we'll get to the regular voices that are coming up. Actually, there's some new voices too.
I'm going to do that. I'm actually going to start with one. It's like with the microphone. Okay. I am proud of myself for living my authentic self. I'm a bisexual male who loves being flamboyant. I love being the bisexual male I was born to be. I grew up so confused as a child. No one was talking about bisexuals. You are either gay or straight. I didn't know bisexuals even existed, but we do exist and we are valid. I love being me now. I'm finally free.
Nice.
Ricky Hernandez.
Oh, thank you, Ricky Hernandez. And why don't you read one more?
I'm proud of a former student who paved his own way. He had the confidence at a very young age, pre-10, to recognize that he felt different from his peers and move forward with the confidence to be himself with that confident posture into young adulthood. His story is one of bravery. Jeff McFarland.
Oh, Jeff McFarland. Jeff McFarland is one of our neighbors, and we spent in his family, and we spent, Susan and I, considerable time with Jeff McFarland and his little boy Griffin
Oh,
at
that's
the
awesome.
Pride Day. And Griffin was having a moment, as toddlers can have, where he was getting ready to come totally unglued and, don't want to move, don't want to do anything, but just want to go into a tantrum. And Jada, our mama girl,
Right.
Mama dog, she walked right up to Griffin and put her big head, which is almost as big as half of his body.
I saw that.
She walked and put her head right on his head, and he just started giggling, and she just turned him around just
Isn't
like that.
I'm going to do one more.
Yes, please.
Okay. And I apologize for my translation on this and my transcribing. Belaine, I am proud of myself because me reinventé frente a las creencias familiares y sociales en las que vivo y porque cree en ruin por sobre todo. I am proud of myself because I reinvent myself in the face of the familiar and social beliefs in which I live and think. I am me above all.
That is so beautiful. Thank you. And that was Belaine.
That was Belaine. And I worked on that to understand because I didn't read these at the place. So I'm trying to read the handwriting because it was a rough place to write. So this is the essence of what I've got. So thank you, Belaine. I can remember seeing her. And it was awesome.
I think that's you did a good job translating. It also reminds me of how English is not a very pretty language.
English is not a pretty language, and it's not rhythmic. When I was I can speak a little Spanish, but it's just not rhythmic. It's not, it's sharp. It's like German, right? It's not.
I always, this is my own personal cultural point of view. I think English is a very male language, and it's a language of commerce. That's how I think of it. So that's just me.
Awesome.
All right. Well, let's now go to one of our speakers, and it's one of our friends.
Are you ready for this?
I'm not. I haven't previewed this. So let's listen to this. This is KGUAWriters on KGUA.
Good morning. This is Dan Rothermel from the coast of Maine. In the spirit of Pride Month, free writing on being proud of our middle child, Robin. Our Robin turns 40 later this summer. Let me tell you, she's had an eventful life. At nearly 4, she complained of aches in her knees and elbows when I would swing her around in the front yard. She'd wake up 6 or 7 times a night. 3 months later, we learned she had leukemia. That's blood cancer, which I didn't know about at the time. Tough kid, she came out the other side after 2 years of chemo and radiation, spindly but determined. Artistic at heart, Robin found the routines of regular public school a challenge. Persevering, she did what she had to do to make it through the education gauntlet. In an extended family of accomplished siblings, nieces, and nephews, she chose a most difficult path, joining the U.S. Army as a soldier. After 15 months in Afghanistan, at the height of that nasty war, she came home ready to take her place in society. Her heart remains with kids who have life-threatening illnesses like she had. Each year, she volunteers in Florida to support the work of Give Kids the World an organization that provides Disney World activities for families so they can get away from their lives of hospitals and treatments for 5 days. As her dad, I've had my positive moments and ones where I didn't quite get it. Through it all, we stayed connected. I'm so damn proud of the young woman she is today.
Well, that is a great, great
Isn't
story.
that a great story?
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know, my son-in-law had leukemia, and he met my daughter at a Leukemia Society event because her mom had Hodgkin's. So, and when my son-in-law was growing older, he came through the leukemia, fortunately. They said having children might not be in his future.
Hmm.
And you all know by now I have a grandson in DC, and I'm going to have another grandchild, which I just learned out on Father's Day. So when I heard Dan's, you know, we have to just maintain strength and courage while we help others through their fears.
You know, all of that is so true, rings true, and
Right.
for a lot of families, and a lot of people go through events that we don't know about, and they, you know, I can remember, this is not about me going through cancer, but when I had the cancer, each month there was this one pill that cost $600 for
Oh,
a pill,
right.
and each month you could donate it to someone.
Oh,
And I could, all I could do was think about people who, unlike me, didn't have a partner or were a single mom, a single parent, maybe in a bad relationship, you know, and going through all this hardship and having to work as sick as you were through the chemo.
which goes
And-
back to what we've been saying. You just said it. Think of the masks you had to wear to get through the day.
Mhm.
Not the mask to help you against the illness or the addiction, but the mask you had to wear to everybody saying, I'm okay. I'm
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm.
So this whole idea of masks and identity and your authentic self all crashed for me as we got through the past weekend.
Absolutely. You know, and the other thing, I'm sorry, this is a political note, but you know, we keep reading about the essential workers, the essential
Right.
workers. Isn't it time we pay essential workers essential pay?
Right.
You know,
Because
that's
what
a
they
simple,
do
yeah,
is essential, but becomes a political word, like you said, like we need them.
we do. All right. So how about another voice, a new voice for us here?
A second time, and one of our Ayurvedic friends.
Yeah, you ready? All
Are
right.
you ready for this one?
Here we go.
June 15th, 2021, prompt pride. You can change your mind, you know, if you want. I can. You can. I can. You can even stop thinking and just be. I can. You can, if you want to, with practice. And you can be like this instead of like that. I can and I will. I try and I do. I move away from home and never return. I marry and divorce and marry again. I decide to not have children. They are young adults. I move across the country with all of my belongings and my dog and live in a motel in Daly City. I own a cozy house in a redwood forest. I am a professor, and for 16 years, I teach little kids. I make art just for me and show it in public. I can change my mind in a purposeful instant, in a cloud of chaotic confusion, after careful consideration of a logical list of pros and cons, and slowly over decades. I can change my mind. You can too. I can. You can. You'll see. Later, you can write about it.
Jennifer Breer. This morning, as we sat in the kitchen, You opened up about a difficult topic in your life. As a child, you walked into a room and saw something not meant for youthful eyes. It's not an uncommon happenstance, but the implications and unknowns set seeds of mistrust in your growing heart, not because of the exact details of what you saw, but the context of having a lack of someone to actually talk about it with. You lacked having someone with whom you could talk about it, not just once, but over and over again if necessary. This morning in the kitchen, you didn't just open up about it yourself. You allowed another person in compassionate inquiry to ask you questions, dig up the bones of the situation with you, and examine with you the extent of flesh and decay. How did this impact you then? And how are you an active participant in the healing or perpetuation now? I've really believed there is no such thing as you make me proud. Pride is like an effervescence, an energy around and coming from someone who is truly present with their authentic self and courageous to let it be seen and to be known. So when I think of pride, I remember the sight of you, calm, present, and in true alignment with yourself. And I am immensely grateful to have also been there for it.
June 15th.
Hang on. We got to stop this. They're running into each other and I don't know why.
Well, I'll talk. I want to thank Robin Bernstein, who
Yes.
is a new writer who went first in that set. Robin, thank you so much. And Jen, thank you. Writing about the effervescence of the authentic self and writing you in the kitchen and you telling your story. They both moved me so much. And what I found so I don't know what the word is, enlightening, interesting, I don't know what the word is. All these things refer to the authentic self. You are your authentic self. Me, I moved away from home to find my authentic self. Dan Rothermel and his daughter, the authentic self. And when I was writing myself this week, not for here, but just in general, I found out that so many of us are on autopilot dealing through life. And you can either soar, you can't soar on autopilot, and you can't crash, right? You have to just go on autopilot. And then I just came up with this idea that by us coming out of whatever we are coming out of, which was a perfect storm of so many different things, we're coming out of autopilot and we're going to soar and we're going to crash, but we're coming out of autopilot to find our authentic self. And I hadn't really shared that until I heard all these things. I'm saying, wow, that is the message. Come out of autopilot. That's what we need to do.
All right, come out of autopilot. I like that a lot. And I am.
You are a tech rocket ship today.
Well, the phone is going to have to, we're going to have to say, hi, whoever you are, we are on the air and I'm not going to take your call, but you can call back after 10. Thank you.
Oh, I love that. We are actually doing call-ins. No, we're not. Don't get excited, everyone.
Okay, so that I'm off into the thought of autopilot because so many of us do have to carry on autopilot. It's not a bad thing. It's not a judgment, but a lot of times, I mean, you have to.
Well, is a mask putting you on autopilot? Do you see what I mean? It was all this mask and identity and autopilot and coming out and what is coming out and where are we coming out of and sharing pride. It just all came together, and the whole abolition of slavery. And then we use the term, I'm a slave to my job. I'm a slave to my poverty. I'm a slave. We lost 600,000 people because they were slaves to COVID.
If anybody could write 20,000 words on mask, it's going to be Mark.
Yeah, it's very compelling.
Really, that whole metaphor And now the autopilot thing has got me going too. But so many of us live those lives on autopilot. And when we do get closer, like I think, and Leanne, I don't know if you're listening, but I mention you, when she finally got her horse Jax,
Mhm.
what a difference that made for her to be back to her authentic self
And you
as a
heard,
horse person.
and when I ran last week, she was on the trail
Right.
coming up to me, and the smile of her in the distance, I just knew it was her. And the smile and the rush hour traffic on the trail on a Saturday morning, 2 horses and 3 runners, and the smile and the engagement, it was awesome.
Now, would you be willing to share something for me to read? Because I didn't bring
Sure.
any of my papers in.
Which would you like? Do you want to read from the Pride event, or do you want to read? I know who you want to read. I know who you want to
Okay.
read.
Hey, and one of our writers that we haven't heard from in a while was at the works for Action Network at the Pride event. Liza Carolina Brown. Big shout out. Never met you. Thank you. Okay. Oh, Susan Miller. To Mark, it says to Mark, but what am I proud of? Sue Miller, Santa Rosa. My niece Ari is focused and strives to meet her goals. I remember how she began high school in San Diego, moved to Portland, Oregon, returned to San Diego for her last year. I may have gotten the order wrong. I so admire her to have the courage as a young woman to do the best she could in spite of her situation. She did well academically and got a scholarship to Agnes Scott College for women near Atlanta, Georgia. I admire her tenacity to fight for what she wanted and achieve it. And as a young adolescent, changing schools 3 times had to be really hard, but she did it. She is someone I am proud of. Well, thank you, Sue. And I have to say, I have nieces and nephews that I am so proud of. And one of my great nieces is getting her doctorate at Davis.
Oh my goodness.
And she and her mother are going to come and visit us this coming week, I think.
Oh, that's
for a while.
awesome.
It is awesome.
She needs to do a free write on a pop-up, because we shared what the next prompt is before the show, which we'll talk about later.
There you go. She might do that. She'll probably be around.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you want to read one from the Pride event?
Yeah, I would
Or
love
do
to
you
read that.
And let me stress, Pride event means proud of whatever you want to be proud of.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right.
So why don't you read any one of them? You choose.
Okay, you marked off the ones that you read?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Quinn?
Yep. Quinn Ballard.
Quinn Ballard. I am proud of my mother. She has always been a supporter to everyone she meets. When I'm having a troublesome day, she's always there to give me love and support. She has always loved how unique everybody is and always lets me be free to make my own decisions in life. And that's why I love her so much. I love you, Mom.
And
Thank
Quinn
you,
was
Quinn.
sitting there with her mom on one of the fold-out chairs in the sun, and just smiling and writing. And I just loved watching the interaction of that small group of people together as they were writing.
Here's a short one. Robert says, I'm proud to be part of Point Arena Pride Day. Proud to have survived another journey around the sun. Proud of my children and grandchildren. How about that?
And today's solstice.
Today's solstice. And Mark and I keep talking about what a sweet event this was.
and
They were just, it was just a sweet, small, beautiful event. And there was there was a photo board there. And it was kind of a quiz. Is like there would be a photo,
Right.
say maybe of Mark, and it'd be 5 names, and you try and figure out who it was. Well, anyway, Maquette Thomas, I think is her name, I've interviewed. She called me over and said, Peggy, I bet you know this person. And she showed me this black and white photo of a native LGBTQ rights icon who's long passed, and she was younger than me. Her name was Barbara Cameron. She was Lakota, and she helped start the oh, what were they called? I knew it yesterday, but it was a Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area Indian gay organization that has just I've lost it.
Act Up wasn't Act Up, was it?
No, it's a particular native gay
Oh,
thing.
okay.
And gay Native Americans, that's probably what it was.
The
Gay-
GNA.
Yeah, the GNA, I guess. Gay Native. Anyway, or maybe it was gay GAI, probably GAI, Gay American Indians back in the 60s, I think. And she went back home, died far too young.
Wow.
But there was her picture. And I thought, well, that was so cool because there were pictures of some other icons. And the other thing about the event was that there were a lot of people of color.
Oh, it was,
You know, it was every color, but it was, you don't see that mix so
it
very
was
often.
just so surprisingly awesome because I just didn't know what to expect. And I thought that was just great.
It was great.
You want to go for another audio from,
We have 2 left since I played 3
we have
that we were.
3.
I only have 2.
Okay.
So, all right, we got a little confused with our audio this week. Well, that means, you know what that means. It means we're going to make up next week. So I'm going to play these 2 back to back. Okay, here we go. Maybe.
Mary Mobert. As a charter member of Seroptimist International of Mendocino, Sonoma Coast, I look back at the achievements the organization has made since its chartering 29 April 1979. At that time, there were no children's summer swimming programs. Redwood Coast Medical Services, Garcia Fire and Rescue, Coast Life Support District, Chomley Hospice, Point Arena Lighthouse Keepers, Point Arena Little School or Pacific Community Charter School, Action Network, Redwood Coast Recreation Center, Coastal Seniors Center, Coast Community Library, Redwood Coast Education Foundation, Project Santa, Midwives on Missions of Service, Escapes or Domestic Violence and Awareness Crisis Services on the coast. The above is a short look at a very long list of organizations and services in which SIMSC, in one way or another, has been instrumental in helping become a reality or to stay viable. Tiny step by tiny step, SIMSC has helped build this frontier backwater that was once renowned through California for the Friday night fights at the Wallala Hotel bar. It was the loggers versus cowboys and or nail-bending contractors, into a growing, dynamic community worthy of being a destination for families and visitors from around the nation and the world. In the movie Contact, the alien at the far reaches of the galaxy told Miss Arroway, "In all our searching, the only thing we've found that makes the emptiness bearable is each other." Each of the around 210 women and men who have been or presently are members have shared their insight and vision of the future. Think of it. Only 210 people working for 42 years have, through their actions, made this and more possible. The future will be shaped in the same way, a joint vision coming to life through action and cooperation. If you wish to be a part of that, contact me for a membership application. President Bob Hartstock, the membership, and I will be glad to welcome you to participating in our continuing service.
Okay, we've run into a little glitch here, but let's see if this is let's try it again. Okay, what's going on?
How about I read one while you're looking?
Yeah, you do that. And
Let's another community pride event writer, Hector. I am proud of myself for being the man that I've become, overcoming fears that as a child I would never have thought I could do. I am glad that we were able to provide support and an outlet for queer and members of the LGBTQ to be themselves, especially in a town where we haven't always felt the support. I am glad that perhaps we encourage a little kid or a teen to accept themselves and know that they have support. I am comfortable with myself and knowing that my life is a fluidity of experiences that translate into the man that I am becoming. And I think that's what really gets me up when I'm having a bad day. You know, Hector, thank you so much. And thank you for your awesome delivery on Stonewall and having that vision to talk. And one thing I want to say about the community as I read these again, one small community on the northern coast in a remote area that just if we could be an example to the bigger places,
Mhm.
everybody just came together. Nobody had profiling, nobody had distance, nobody, it's still overwhelming that, you know, thank you, Point Arena, and everybody that came in from around the area for giving us hope and an example of what can be that starts in our roots right
You
here.
know, Mark, is what you're saying is so moving. And if I were to write about what am I proud of now, I would be proud of Action Network and
Oh,
all
so
the
proud.
community that came together. This beautiful gathering, we keep talking about it. It was such a sweet gathering. Just all the people, dogs, babies, and just comfortable to be together and happy.
Right?
And as it was ending, of course, all the kids were dancing.
The kids were dancing, wearing glitter. And it's interesting, and
Yeah.
I'll say this here, it was also very telling that there are still some people that won't go the extra couple of miles to go up to Point Arena or come down. You know, we still have some silos, and that's okay. But thank you, Action Network, because you showed we're not just a tourist place. We are a pure golden community of getting through it all.
All of those you who missed it, you missed it. That's
Well-
all I'm going to say. And you know what? I'm sure there were a lot of reasons some people didn't make it, but it was kind of put together at the last minute. So
Right.
there's but nevertheless, you missed a really shining moment in our
And
community.
if one case got out of control during COVID, that one case could have wiped out our community.
Yeah,
And we're here.
we're here. All right. I believe we now have the two pieces, but let's start with this one and see if this goes, Mark.
Pride, a reflection for the KGUA Storytelling Hour on the Summer Solstice 2021 by David Stoloff in Eastern Connecticut. I am proud, as we all should be, to have survived to see the longest day of the year. We are lucky to be able to enjoy this dawn and sunset. I am proud that I met Debbie 36 years ago. I was very sad, confused back then, waiting for my future to start. I'm proud of Debbie, who has put up with me all these years. I am proud of our 4 children. All did well in our neighborhood schools and all graduated from universities and went on to have full-time jobs in positions that didn't exist a generation ago. They are well on their own paths. Their stories have not ended. I am also proud of my students. I celebrate their accomplishments and try to get them to plan for their futures. Like grandchildren, I only know them from their successes and from my attempts to influence them and form positive memories of our limited time together. I am proud of my little accomplishments. Morning bike rides while listening to NPR, riding more than 100 miles a week during the summer, my storytelling, contributing to our Writers Club, my world travels, my academic and union positions, being in the Diamond League and Duolingo, completing at least 10 language lessons a day, playing words with friends. I'm proud to be a returned Peace Corps volunteer, and I am proud of my leadership in professional organizations. I am proud that I have taught at the same university full-time for 26 years, a position that is not easy to find in these days of changing learning and teaching and declining public support for education. I am proud of the luck I have had in my life, proud of the gifts that were given me by my ancestors and my community, and humbled that I haven't given back as much as I have received from life.
Thank you, Dave. And Peggy, by the way, I just thought about this. His wife's name is Debbie, not Beloved.
she, she has a real name. Well, beloved Debbie works too.
Right. I want to just say one thing before the next reading. This is another beautiful example of a family going through things, being proud of each other, being proud of what they've gone through, not focusing on the challenges, but also how they've approached things differently. So I introduce you to Hannah Rothermel.
KGUA episode number 59, June 16th, 2021, offered by Hannah Rothermel, knee deep in the June of York, Maine. Who am I proud of? First one who comes to mind, hands down, our daughter, Robin. Out of the blue, having graduated from high school, that's a story in itself, she informs us. Well, let me back up a bit. An Army officer who steps out of a car in our driveway, just as we pull into our driveway, asks us, "So, how do you feel about your daughter joining the Army?" Up to that very moment, we knew nothing of her plans. Almost immediately, we say, "Great, Reed, take her, she's yours." It's not always been an easy go of parenting with Robin. And we weren't exactly parents of the year. Just ask Robin. Off she went to boot camp in South Carolina, advanced infantry training in Alabama, summertime no less, and then Afghanistan for 15 months. While there, beyond her Army duties, she organized a shoe drive for the local community. After seeing families come into the hospital with very worn shoes, or none at all. Upon her return and discharge, she's always found a job for herself, never asked for money or to move back home. Those jobs were usually not well-paying jobs, but involved hard work, caring for an autistic young man or working in a group home for adults requiring supervision. The latter, her current job, often requires extra hours at a moment's notice. She works hard, she's thoughtful, creative, appreciative, and generous. She spoils her nieces and nephews, and every one of them will own a personalized Christmas stocking hand-crocheted by Auntie Robin. We like to think we had something to do with the young woman Robin continues to become. But truth be told, Robin is her own person, and we're just the lucky ones who get to call her ours. Our Robin Lee.
Gualala, 88.3.
Okay, big mistake there. How about that?
And Robin,
Sorry.
and Robin is the young girl who had leukemia at 4 years old.
Is that right?
And this is her sister reading for Hannah, who has some voice challenges.
Ah,
So you may say I don't take credit for Robin, but the love that all of you have given have made the world a better place because of all of you. Thank you.
wow. Okay, couple of more. That was Woof.
That
wasn't
was
it?
Wolf
That
saying a
confused
couple
me.
of more. He's agreeing with you.
Yeah, he agrees. Okay, I'm going to read Lori Haas Young from Nice, California. Or nice, if you want to call it that way. She was a joyful, chubby toddler. They said she was born with slightly misaligned hips. They put both her legs in casts when she was 3 years old. Then they separated the cast with a metal rod to keep them apart. She adapted quickly to toddling around like that until her hips were aligned right and they took it all off. She is my half sister, born to my dad and his new wife when I was 14. I didn't get to know her well until we were adults, as we grew up in different homes. I'm proud of her because she overcame other adversities as well. She dealt with an eating disorder and weight problem that led to her not wanting to continue living. She dealt with overprotective parents who falsely made her feel unable to survive on her own. She moved away from home when she was 42. A few years later, she made me even more proud of her. Our dad was a jazz man, a piano player who spent his youth sneaking out at night and listening to jazz in Harlem. His folks were Reform Jews and frowned on his musical interests. They forbade him to play drums or piano at home. He mastered both in high school for kids gifted in music and arts. Fast forward decades. Transport cross country to California. My sister in her 40s bonded with another person who loved jazz. He was to become her husband. That was 15 years ago. What makes me so proud of my sister is that she married a Black man. She was the first person in our family to marry a Black person. I feel proud for both of them.
Mhm. Wow, it's one after the other. One after the other. Why don't you read Anonymous Girl?
Anonymous Girl. I am so proud of my daughter for being brave enough to come out to us and to her friends, even the ones from early childhood. She lives her truth unapologetically. I'm going to read that line again. I love that line.
Mhm.
She lives her truth unapologetically, and I am happy that she feels safe enough to share with us, her parents, all of her fears and triumphs along the way. Middle school is hard enough, but navigating the ups and downs, the cliques, and the confusion of puberty is that much harder and more stressful than the academic load. The truth is, it was pretty easy for my kid to come out to us because we have let her know from the very beginning that we supported any reality of self that she knew. But there are kids out there who don't have support at home. They have to suppress the truth of their very existence. And on top of that, they have to navigate a more dangerous world than my child does. They have to avoid landmines of being outed or even suspected. They have to lie to live. And they still show up. They seek out and find the safe friends and adults. They take on the stress of hiding just so they can keep their family. And I'm really proud of those kids for getting up every day and putting on the armor and the camouflage to survive a world of weak and wounded adults. Wow.
You know,
Anonymous
I have
Girl.
to say this to all the parents who are listening. Be proud of your children who are trying to come out of autopilot and get over, for anyone that does, your own concerns of what people will think, because your kids need you now. They have courage at 4 or 5 years old, and you need to be there for that courage. Courage is not just for somebody with an illness like Robin, but for a mental decision to become an authentic self. So parents, please support that. I'm going to read a couple of more. I'll give you some also from the Pride
Okay.
Day. Billy. No, not that one. I am proud to be who I am. I'm proud to explore and try new things. I'm proud to push myself to learn. I recently decided to start a new endeavor, and sometimes I am terrified. I remind myself I can do anything if I try. So I'll work as hard as I can.
Thank you, Billy. I am proud to be queer. Queerness saved my life as a young person aware of being different, knowing in my heart that there was nothing wrong with my sexuality while being surrounded by homophobia and the myriad of legal restrictions on my life made me question everything as a young kid. My heart opened to take in all the people who experienced depression. My queerness pushed me out of my white middle-class suburban Midwest trap. It propelled me to cities, to nearly every continent. My queerness inspired me to live a life in service and to love with abandonment, because you never know when it will be taken away. It inspired me to find courage to fight in solidarity with all the BS in the world. I am proud of my queerness.
And we're proud of you. Gretchen, again from the pop-up at Point Arena. And might I say something about Point Arena? Next time you're walking through, talk to these people. They are pillars. I am proud of myself for following my calling, leaving my corporate job, and starting my Freedom Grove to support people's mental health. I'm proud to provide a men's support group over Zoom to support men's mental health all over the world. I'm proud to provide a women's group online to support women's health all over the world. I'm proud to host a podcast that provides an opportunity for others to share their stories and help the world. I am proud to help startup entrepreneurs to get their biz off the ground so they can be self-sufficient and help the world. I am proud I am able to support their mental health in the process. I am proud to be working with the federal government to create a transgender mentorship program. I am proud to help members of the LGBTQ plus community to live their authentic lives. I am proud to help families of LGBTQ plus members navigate their own feelings and changing curve. There are 10 people that added to the prompt pop-up at Point Arena. These are the 10 things you have heard. These are our 10 neighbors that are walking around. These are our support systems.
Was that when you just read the woman who's now head of Planned Parenthood?
No, she is my Grove.
Well, there was a woman there who was is now head of.
Oh, maybe I'll
Planned
find out
Parenthood,
and we'll mention that. But I'm proud of all these folks. They're
Yeah.
right here walking in our path. Don't walk past them. I'm going to close all the readings and the writings with this one. And sorry for the ruffled papers.
We're gonna have to get you newsprint. That's
Okay.
what makes the difference.
This is from the executive director of Action Network,
Oh,
Thais, who wrote this on the spot. And she speaks for all of us. I am proud by the beauty of the human heart. I am humbled how we can together reach out and heal, cry together and say, hello, I see you. I am humbled by the world and how she holds us, and humbled that this one breath I take is the breath of all that lives in this miraculous universe. And might I add, that lives in our own neighborhood.
thank you, Thais. I had a really nice conversation with Thais while I was there, got to know her a little bit
Yep.
better. And as we did, a lot of us just having casual conversations. And it was, again, we keep raving about what a great event it was. And it just really was. And I enjoyed it so much more, as there was a lot of pride the first time that the huge 100,000
Right.
people plus San Francisco Pride Days started, and I was there for those in the early days when I was young. But it just felt so wonderful and
Oh, it
so
was
like
just-
a backyard party.
It just made me people say, how do you live up here? And I just said, now I know.
Yeah, now we know.
So the prompt for next week, we have a couple of seconds. I've been thinking about all these things, between running and all this stuff coming into us from all over places, and even from the reading. Officially, June 19th became June 10th, and it's officially a federal holiday, national holiday, officially. And it got me thinking about all these different people and what we've all come through, both spoken and not spoken, and witnessing. So the prompt for next week is, if someone said to you, create a national holiday, what would the national holiday you choose? What event or what recognition would you choose a national holiday to be? You are now given a magic wand to make a national holiday. What's the national holiday that you want to make national?
I love that.
Isn't that
I
something?
think it's going to be, it is something. Mark's brain is something.
Yeah, the brain today is just, just something. It's
Mark's always on fire. So we'll see what we'll listen to next week, what comes out of this. Now, don't forget, if you missed the first part of the show, you can hear it again at 1, and you get to hear it again at 6:00 on Saturday evenings.
right. And please listen to all these people's words. There is so much depth in all of this. And I just can't thank you, Action Network. Thank you, the members of the community. Thank you for everybody who wrote on the spot. And thanks for all your courage and bravery. Bravery.
Brevity. I like that.
I'll edit. And come out of autopilot. Find your authentic self. It's okay if you crash and soar a little bit.
And you will. That's what it is to be human, isn't it? We all find out in so many different ways where our human individual boundaries might be, where we might want to stretch them out a bit, you know?
We might. I was thinking of another term that came to me about a while, mass communication. You know, you and I come from mass communication, right? So what is mass communication? A little play on the words. That's when my brain relaxes a little bit, then something else just comes up. So
Mass
communication.
That's a good one, Mark. I like that. All right. We're going to say goodbye to KGUA Writers and Mark and Woof until next Monday, hearing about what national holiday you might want to be brought to mind. I mean, I don't know. It could be National Pterodactyl Day. I don't know.
It could be National Pterodactyl Day. It could be National Day of nothing.
Or
National Day
or
National Day of my whatever.
Of whatever. Yeah. You know, it anything. National Day of your favorite food. I don't know, fried pickles or something.
National Day of yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. We got to go. Thank you, Mark. And
thank you, Peggy.
thank you,
Thank you,
listeners.
writers. And thank you, Point Arena.